In the waning years of the fourth stellar era, when the galaxy churned with the ambitions of 10,000 civilizations, and the great arms of the Milky Way flickered with the engine burns of species, competing for dominance, it was humanity, scrappy, underestimated, endlessly inventive, that would ultimately step forward to prevent a cataclysm that threatened to wipe out not only intelligent life, but the very structure of space-time itself. A disaster first hinted at when astronomers aboard the Terran research vessel Helix Horizon detected impossible oscillations rippling through the Perseus arm, as though reality were trembling like a stretched membrane about to snap. At first, these anomalies were dismissed as sensor errors, a glitch in the Horizon's decade-old instrumentation. But after 3 months of observation and after 3 separate science fleets from unrelated species independently confirmed the phenomenon, it became clear that the galaxy was facing something unprecedented, a collapse of the quantum lattice, the subdimensional scaffolding that kept gravity, electromagnetism, and the constants of physics stable, and which, according to every textbook, simulation, and ancient archive, was incapable of failing unless some unimaginable external force tampered with it. The source of the disruption was finally tracked to a region of space known as the Pale Rift, a mysterious, starless gulf shunned even by the oldest starfaring empires. And while most species advocated caution, debate, and lengthy consensus protocols, humanity, who had only a few centuries earlier crawled out of its cradle and launched itself onto the cosmic stage, argued that the crisis allowed no such luxury of time. For each day, the oscillations worsened, destabilizing local space, causing gravity to fluctuate in inhabited systems, pulling asteroids off course, and sending electromagnetic storms rippling across trade lanes. And so, after weeks of diplomatic stalemate among the galaxy's fractious powers, it was the humans, of all beings, who volunteered to lead an expedition straight into the Pale Rift to discover the cause of the lattice failure. At the heart of the mission was the starship Intrepid Dawn, a vessel that embodied humanity's defining trait, adaptability born of necessity, built from hybrid technologies scavenged, traded, reverse-engineered, and reimagined from dozens of alien designs, its hull plated with human-forged metamaterials reinforced by Talari flux bracing, its engines a fusion of Terran plasma drives and Azuri quantum sails, its sensors augmented by the crystalline perception matrices of the Threx, and its AI core an emergent entity named Arden, whose logic pathways had evolved beyond any conventional algorithm and whose loyalty to humanity came not from programming, but from the bond nurtured through years of exploration. The crew was equally diverse. Captain Mara Elian, whose childhood on the orbital slums of Ceres taught her how to improvise when resources were scarce. Dr. Hanvelis, the physicist whose theories first predicted that the lattice could be intentionally sabotaged. Chief Engineer Leo Serrano, capable of repairing a warp coil with little more than a power torch, a length of wire, and sheer stubbornness. Ambassador Serene Vos, whose job was to keep the galaxy's diplomats minimally cooperative, and a contingent of alien specialists from species who, despite political hesitation, knew that if humanity failed, none of them would survive what was coming. As the Intrepid Dawn plunged into the Pale Rift, its hull groaned under pressures that no ship had ever endured, for the very geometry of space twisted unpredictably, stretching, compressing, and folding like a four-dimensional knot. Yet the crew pressed forward, guided by Arden's real-time recalculations and the humans' uncanny ability to adapt to the unexpected, until they emerged into a vast emptiness at the center of the rift where the laws of physics shimmered like heat. Haze and an impossible structure hung, suspended in the void, an immense, lattice-shaped construct woven from energy threads thicker than planets, a kind of cosmic loom that seemed simultaneously ancient and newborn, decayed and yet impossibly active, as though built by something that understood physics on levels no civilization had ever approached. As the Dawn's sensors locked onto the structure, later named the Nullweaver, engine, Dr. Velis realized in horror that the device was not simply failing, it was being deliberately reactivated, manipulated by an external intelligence to rewrite the quantum lattice and reshape the galaxy according to some alien design. Then the signal came, a pulse of directed thought, neither language nor code, but a pattern of intent that Arden barely decoded, before warning the crew that something vast was aware of them. That something revealed itself moments later, unfolding from a higher dimension like a shadow cast from outside the universe. An entity the crew would eventually call the Architect, a being whose existence hinted at an ancient civilization that predated galactic history by billions of years, whose purpose was to rebuild the universe after a past catastrophe, but who had deemed the current galaxy's life forms unworthy of survival in its new iteration. The Architect's logic was cold, indifferent, a calculus of cosmic engineering in which biological civilization was merely noise. And when Ambassador Voss attempted